We are live. Good morning, everybody here in the United States. It's welcome to another episode of Coffee Chat. You'll notice that I am not Sarah Murdoch. I'm sitting in for Sarah this morning with a couple of my good colleagues in India. Chetan, you know from a couple of our other broadcasts. Good evening, Chetan. He's up in the north,
Good
but
evening,
today
good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening.
we also welcome in our good friend Lalu from the south. Lalu is from Mamallapuram. Easy for me to
Good,
say. Actually, I
good
think I got
evening,
it right.
hi.
Welcome, Lalu.
Welcome.
He's from Mamallapuram in Tamil Nadu, which is the one of the two southernmost provinces or states of India. And as we are doing Southern India on Where in the World this week, we wanted to bring you someone from the South. You know, we had Chetan on Monday. We talked about the South in general, but we're going to hear more and more specifics from Tamil Nadu with Lalu this morning. My background today is not Tamil Nadu. It's from Kerala. We talked a little bit about the backwaters on Monday. We'll talk more about that later today too when we have Nina Sefusati on at 10 a.m. Seattle time. Okay, enough housekeeping. Lalu, we're going to start with you. And why
Yes,
don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your background. How did you get involved in tourism? Yeah, tell us about that.
actually, Mahabalipuram. When I was childhood, this is my own town, and this is my third generation we live in this place. And every time I just go in school, and I can see a lot of foreign tourists in this town. It makes more interested, and also people taking us to explain our city. They are very interested to learn, and that makes me a very interesting. Wow! And then I was very interested to learn on my place, what is in my place. And then I was happy for a guest to explain about my town and to know see how many good things we have. It we are before generation give us that. So that's what makes me very interested to explain the tourists. So this is the way I love this job, and that's make very impressed. And more than that, every time I'm meeting new people, so I'm learning them. So the job I didn't get boring. So it's taking me a long and long.
Excellent. So, Americans know very little about the south of India, I find. And that was true of me almost 30 years ago when I came to southern India, my first and only time. And I talked about this at length on Monday, and I'll try to be quick about it today. I just wanted to say that the expectation game is an important piece of travel, and sometimes they get in our way, and sometimes they are fulfilled and in a spectacular way. And that's what I said about the South. My expectations were very low because I didn't know anything about it. When we arrived, I had a few pictures and a Lonely Planet guidebook, and we just thought it was amazing. So let's fill in a little bit of that background for our audience, people who might be thinking about going to southern India with Imprint Tours. Tell me about Tamil Nadu. Let's start with, how is Tamil Nadu different from, say, Rajasthan, where Chetan lives? How is it different?
Actually, Tamil Nadu, it is first of all, it is a holy place. We have a lot of temples here, and more than that, we have a sea coastal areas, coastal area, and we have a forest, and we have a mountain, and we have a lot of agricultural land. So we have a all kind of how do you say situation to live here. All kind of we having yearly we have a 2 3 times raining here. Agriculture is very famous, and we are creating a lot of rice to give all of the world. Tamil Nadu, especially in south of Tamil Nadu, the place we call as Tanjore, and it is the, one of the first place in in India, we're close by. We are creating a lot, tons of rice. Farmers are living there. And more than that, people are coming to Tamil Nadu not to having a fun. It's the holy trips. We have a holy trips here. A lot of temples, are not only temples. People here, we having all kind of religious people living here, and we are very very close. And we have a lot of festivals. We are. It's not a festival from a Muslim. It's festival also Hindu. Getting joined in them. We are celebrating all the festivals. Religious. It's apart from that, we have friendships. It's more here. We
Excellent.
taking their festivals. We are celebrating. They are celebrating our festivals.
Nice. Now, Tamil Nadu is primarily Hindu, though. Am I correct about that?
Yeah. Tamil Nadu is majority is Hindus. They are Aryans actually. So if we see from out of from other places, it's totally quite very different, very apart. Way of the people. How do you say? Like if you go to the temples, we have the praying and everything. A little bit different from others, but they are very friendly. And if you meet people from Tamil Nadu, if you meet like a 5 minutes, suddenly they ask you, did you have a lunch? Or that kind of how do you Atitya Devabhava, which means we are having a very good relationships with not only from us, from everyone.
So,
Friendship is more important from us.
a tradition of hospitality. Then it sounds like.
We have medical specialty, a very good development over here now, and we are having a lot of hospitalities and also a lot of doctors coming from this states. People are very more interested to learn about the medical. So the students year by year is getting more and more and more.
Okay.
So that's the way that they call the Tamil Nadu. It is a medical also city.
Do you get a lot of American visitors down there, down south?
Of course, we have a lot of Americans here, and we having two kind of Americans here. One is travelers, another one's business people.
Right. Yeah.
Business people we having here like a weekend because we in Tamil Nadu also we have a lot of IT companies, so they are coming every maybe each of them they've been here by Cape more than 10 or 15 times. So every time they come here, they're learning more and more. They're having a holidays like a weekly 2 days, Saturday, Sunday. So they come to visit not only Mahabalipuram, they're having a time to very short tours. They go and have a look at and they're learning.
Right.
And they're having a very good, they're saying their friends, once they're having a timing, they can come with the family to having what they enjoyed it, they give it to the family also. See what I enjoyed it.
Okay. Let's circle back to, you mentioned that you have lots of festivals. Tell us, pick one or two of your favorites and tell us what happens during the festival.
Actually, we have one of the festival. A lot of festivals are there. Suddenly, if you ask it, me for my favorite festival, it's a Pongal.
Could-
Pongal festival. It's coming in January second weeks of January. So that is makes 4 days of festival. 4 days of festival. That is not only about that religious. It is everybody celebrate that festival. The festival especially for farmers.
For
farmer
farmers?
festival. Yes.
Farmers, okay.
The farmer festival. That is, we are celebrating with them. So first today, we are expect to the sun god for nature. First for nature, which is given a good time, a rain and a good sunlight for a farming. That is the first day. Say thanks to nature. And second day, we are celebrating the animal of the cows.
Of
Cows,
course.
it's the part of the person in family, which is so used to the family for economically development. Cows. The cows all work to the farmer in the farming and they're feeding him milk. And that's a lot of families still making money with this milk for small, making to develop to run the family. So that is thanks to the cow. And third days, all the festival, the 2 days festival, they're celebrating in the home. And third day, everybody from the home they go outing. They go outing and having a fun from there. So they meet each friends, relatives, and speak them. If any by misunderstandings, they're all clear in the times.
Oh, nice.
That way
And
clears. They're then having a chatting of funds and they apologize, which is the do. Unfortunately, mistakes both sides mean they give apologize and they're having this festival. They used to be very good for them because their relatives. Some people they don't speak like for a 6 or 7 months. There is no reason or some reasons, but this festival may compromise to them.
so how, if I were a visitor at the time of this festival, what would I see? What would be the outward appearance
That's
of the
true.
festival?
That is very beautiful, and there is every village side the festival decorating colorful, and it is if you go every small villages, they welcome you, and they also joined in with you their festivals.
Nice.
They invite you, and they are very happy because this festival mostly for a guest. Mostly for just I took in this festival every time. I have a bullock cart around. We are doing the bullock cart round. We're taking a guest to the village side and we showing them how the festival is celebrating and having music mean not a Western, traditional music. Traditional music they have playing in music and having singing songs and they having the ladies have a beautiful colorful sarees and a men's they're wearing a dhoti and shirts. So they are also joining a dancing with them. And
Okay.
also we having in Mahabalipuram, especially for this festival, we having a dance program also. Government arranging the Indian dance festival. They're having a stage. They do this program like a 1 month. A 1 month this program it will be happening in Mahabalipuram every day, 6 to 8 in the evening. They're having a stage and open a landscaping land area landscaping. If you want, you can sit from the chair, or if you want, you can sit from the garden. You can sit and you can enjoy that. And they're having a program, a Bharatanatyam and a Kuchipudi, and not only South Indian dance. They're inviting from all over India, also from Rajasthan, Gujarat, which is the leading states in India. This is the famous dancers, traditional dancing. They come to play here to entertain to the tourism.
Okay,
And
you've
this is
mentioned
they're giving a complimentary, no tickets. They all are free,
complimentary, no tickets. That's always
no
appealing.
tickets.
You mentioned
And
both music and dance. Would I assume correctly that the music and dance of Tamil Nadu of the South would be different than the rest of India, or is it pretty much
yes,
the same?
yes. No. The way of almost same, but the way of playing a music instrument are different. Instruments are different.
Okay.
And once we have a Chetanji and we had a especially January is our main season, so we took a couple of groups to this dance programs. They are very enjoyed it. After that, they have to be. I can come tomorrow also. So we take it tomorrow also them to program. They have to go next day. Then we say, oh, no, we have a 2 days in Mahabali. We have to go next places also. So they are very sad. They're missing the program because the
So
program every day they're doing new.
so you took up some visitors and they learned
Yeah.
some basic dance steps.
No, now suddenly they don't learn it, but they're making videos.
Ah,
They're making videos. So and when they're back to the rooms, they play the videos and they're trying the steps.
I, I've
Sometimes the sometimes the dancer who gets interested to dance with them. They call them, come and join it. They teach them one or two steps to them.
I'm hearing that as a tour director and wondering if that's something we might work into one of our tours when we come there. We'll have to have a discussion about that.
You're most welcome.
Really? Okay. Well, we might well have to set that up. So now also you had mentioned a lot of rice cultivation in the South. One of the things I do remember about the South was not very, very different food, but the food was quite different as well. What can you tell us about the local food in Mamallapuram?
In Mamallapuram, we are actually Mamallapuram is very famous for seafoods. Seafoods are very famous because we are very close to the oceans, and we have a small rooftop restaurants, and they're getting a fresh seafoods. What catch today? They're going to show us you what food you wanted, which style you want to cook. They don't. You can say I don't need a spices, just garlic and butter sauce. This way I need to cook, so they can do the which taste you want it. Some people they want to try Indian style, so they can do it in Indian style. If you go Indian style, mean a little bit spicy,
Yes.
not a little bit mean for me a little bit, for you is little more. So that is what Mahabalipuram seafoods. But if you go southern down South India, non-veg meat is more famous, and also very good biryani.
Biryani. Yeah.
Biryani, it is a very famous food from here, and that is we having a two-way of restaurants. We having a vegetarian and non-vegetarians. If you go non-vegetarian, they serve by you a banana leaf with banana leaves and a rice and a dal, papad, and with a smaller dishes. You can have it from them. They having preview. And if you go to the non-veg restaurants, you can go with the spicy. Normally, every restaurant out of Mahabalipuram, if you go to the South India, every restaurant, if you go non-veg, it will be spicy. Because here they ask you how way of cooking, but other side we are normally eating is spicy. Without spicy means the restaurants nobody go there.
Yeah, it's important for Americans to know that they don't have to have spicy Indian food. So that's good to hear. And also, I think Americans are used to Indian restaurants in America are primarily what I would call Northern Indian dishes. A lot of tandoori and biryani, things like that. But I don't think Americans think of seafood necessarily. So that variety will be fun.
Actually, here tandoori chickens is what we think. It's not from our culture, not from Tamil Nadu. It's from north of India. But
Right.
here, the way of cooking with the masala, the chicken or mutton, they go with masala.
And
So
forgive me. I remember masala. Is that a style of spicing, basically the masala, or does that
yes,
mean something
yes.
else?
No, masala it is a gravy, but they're using a spicy with it.
Okay. And a dosa, is that a part of masala style cooking? A masala dosa?
No. Dosa it is our morning breakfast. It's a breakfast. So dosa is a rice powder, rice powder. So that is makes us with dosa. That's a morning breakfast. So we do idli,
Right.
dosa. They are same, but dosa is good at least. But the way rice powder they are same. They grind it, so that's the both are same. But that's a breakfast. We're not using a masala for that. That is
Okay.
not a spicy. Morning breakfast not spicy.
Okay. And am I remembering correctly? A dosa is you could almost describe it as a crispy pancake. Am I remembering
That's right.
correctly?
That's
Okay.
right. That's right. But that crispy pancakes that makes sweets, but this is not a sweet.
Right, right. More savory than sweet. Yeah.
Yes, but this is one of the healthy food
Oh,
to
Chetan is
eat.
showing us a picture here. Oh yeah, sure. It's rolled up there into a little
Yes, yes,
tower.
yes,
I got it.
yes.
So Chetan, that would be a breakfast that you're showing us on your phone there,
That's dosa. It's a
right?
specialty as Lalu is sharing with us. So it's
Mhm.
kind of a multi-meal. You can have it at breakfast, you can have it as a major meal, but normally people will be using this as the light brunch as well. And
Okay,
the three small bowls there to notice, these are the combination of different spicy chutneys or ketchups, as we can call them.
okay.
So we'll have a combination of a grated coconut chutney. Then we have a lentils-based mixed veggie curry. Now we can always alter the spice factor in either of these varieties, right? So these are basically light meals, though you can have a lot of varieties of these dosas up there. But when it comes to the main meal, lunch or dinner, one interesting difference between North India and Southern India is that the word meal in itself refers to the whole dish, which is a thali or a platter.
Hmm.
So as we travel across specifically Tamil Nadu, for that matter, and you come across a lot of hotels and roadside eateries, they always would be flashing boards saying meals ready. That means the lunch is ready, and lunch invariably will not be this dosa, but it would be a combination of rice, lentils, appams, and a lot of different varieties, which could be used as multiple combo ingredients within a plate,
Hmm.
right? So yeah, this could be used as like for us or for those people who are not from southern India. Dosas, idli is a smoke or steamed bowl preparation made from rice, and vada is something like donut, which is a crispy and spicy. These are majorly the breakfast items for the local communities. For those who are not from southern India, say Tamil Nadu, Mamlapuram, people like us, we probably fancy having these as one of the main ingredients for our lunch or our dinner as well. But for them, meals or the major lunch item would be a combination of rice and different types of curries there. A major difference between Northern Indian and Southern Indian cuisine is that for North India, the grains like wheat, barley, maize, they are staple, right?
Right.
So we make a lot of chapatis and parathas and tandooris up there. But in Southern India, rice is the staple food ingredient. That could be mixed with a lot of coconut-based preparations, banana-based preparations, and their own local curries. So that's how it differs.
Since we've
Chetanji
got
helped
you
me.
involved, sorry, Lalu, something else?
No, Chetanji helped me. Well, thank you.
Well, and since Chetan has chimed in here, I have a question kind of for both of you. We'll start with you, Lalu. Um, again, my recollections of Southern India are almost 30 years old, and what I would call the hassle factor was fairly high, and it seemed to. Do you understand what I mean by the hassle factor? People trying to sell you things or get you to come into their restaurant, or it was not that people were rude. It's that they were just not used to seeing white people, I'll say, or for sure Americans. And we were a curiosity, and people would sort of crowd around us. If we sat down at an outside table, within seconds there was a crowd of people ringed around our table just to look at us. Um, so I don't want to suggest that might be that way if we visit again this fall. Is that something that is still the case in the South? Is that something that has evolved and changed a little bit? Give me your perspective on that, Lalu.
Yes. It was, you're right, but it was once upon a time. It was once upon a time, but now business peoples or street sellers or restaurant peoples, they are know how to behave the tourists. So they show what they have. If you want it, you can go ahead. If you don't want it, you just pass it. They not push you. They not push you, and they're not giving you disturb you. But if you go, I didn't say fully stop it, but some places, it's some small areas, they're happening. people come to try to sell you, make business. But this is totally, if you comparison to the before and now, mostly like a 85 and 90% people stopped at the way of beginning, showing them the display. But they are very beautiful at displaying things what they got us to attract the guests.
Sure.
Not same what the people who the next people who got it, they don't want to repeat it them. Their idea is different to do something different to attract the attention the guests to see them. So this they're having a very good idea to do.
Okay. Well, that's actually good to hear. Chan, what's your perspective since you travel between the North and the South? Can you compare that fact of Indian life North to South?
To be honest, when we go to any of the places, whether it is Northern India, Southern India, for that matter, anywhere in our country, if that spot happens to be very, very popular amongst tourists, we do quite often than not come across all these vendors who would be trying to hover around the vehicles and trying to present their items and try to sell their items. But once we kind of have an eye-to-eye communication with them, they literally get back. In some cases, yes, we might see them, which would be a bit more bouncing, but at other places now they realize that basically if you give some space to the tourists, they would rather end up buying a bit more rather than, putting yourself totally onto them. I'll show you another picture of the exactly same incidents that we are talking about. I have a group of these people who are with me on one of the tours, and if you could see, there's a lady who is putting jasmine flowers on the girls.
Yeah.
Is it clear?
Yes. Yeah, I can see that.
Right. So sometimes what happens is like we have people like this, and we have our own techniques of making sure that we are not offending any of these vendors. But at the same time, we are cautioning our people and maintaining a safe distance between our group members and the entire army of vendors. It's basically we lend them an ear. We introduce their items to our group members, and that way, once they realize that they have been listened to and they have been given their due in introducing their items to the group members, then they withdraw. So that is one of the very, very successful techniques. But yes, overall, this practice is kind of dwindling. But then, for instance, when there is a big lull of tourist season, and it happens actually even with Indian tourists going to all these places, not only limited to Western tourists coming, it's pretty much common. But yes, more popular is the place, we can expect a little bit more number of such people around.
Right.
It's very much contained, Lalbhai said.
Yeah.
And
Please go ahead.
yeah, and also the developmenting of tourism, the Indian tourism developmentals and also Tamil Nadu tourism developmentals, the early ones they're having like for calling local salespeople, business people call them to they're taking classes how to behave the tourists, how to do the business with them. If you do very decently, the tourists come more and more to your town. You're getting more business. So they try to understand them. This is the way you can have making and do over with the relative with the tourists, and also the people's they will see only but once before they see the white skin, they go random to try to sell business like oh, buy this, go this. But now they are staying them, just showing them. So we got this if you need it, and if they still in what you have next, they can show you. Otherwise, just pass them, go. Some tourists they like the approximately. Then they come when they go when they come back, they call them, come on, show me again. I can buy from you. So this is the business people learn from the tourists also, and the tourism development. They're taking very good classes for the salespeople, and they are teaching them how to behave the tourists. That's very useful for them.
Yeah. Well, that's really a great relief for me to hear. You know, I've experienced myself in the north of India how that has changed, how it has gotten better over the years. From the early '90s, my first time, and then the first time I brought a group 10 years ago, and then we had a group with Chetan 4 years ago. And each time that issue had been diminished, had gotten better. So good to hear that that's also true in the south. Because that is something that can be off-putting for American travelers. So another question to the both of you. We'll start with you again, Lalu. Tell me a little bit about the history of Tamil Nadu. I mean, what influences historically have influenced the culture down there that they didn't necessarily experience up in the north?
Actually, Tamil Nadu, it is Aryans, sorry, Dravidians. So Tamil Nadu, this is one of the ancient place, and the kings who are here, like the Cholas, they are very famous kings who ruled Thailand, Indonesia, Sri Lanka. The kings from here, they are taking our culture to that country. That's why you can see a lot of Hindu temples in that country, and in the 10th century. So the Tamil Nadu, it is Tamil, which is the language what we speaking. This is one of the oldest language in the universal, one of them. So more than couple of not only in Tamil Nadu, if you go to Singapore, and if you go Sri Lanka, and if you go to the Malaysia, and those countries, second or third language is Tamil. So Tamil Nadu, it is the one of the traditional uh, 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 states in India, and a lot of history behind that, and a lot of people, the people are, we are a lot of affected from the other kingdoms, but people are very good comeback. They showed you, and not only the fighters against the kingdoms, a lot of freedom fighters, they also participate Tamil Nadu to the British from here. So a lot of people from Tamil Nadu, a lot of biggest history. It is not time to say within 10 minutes. It took like a 15 or 20 days.
Well, that'll be something we'll have to go deeper into the history when we come with the group this fall. Chetan, do you you know, I know your perspective is kind of like me, more of an outsider looking in, and anything to add to that about the history down south?
A little bit on the top of what Lalu has already added is literally in a nutshell covered a lot of that, but just for the namesake, two names of some of the best dynasties that ever existed. Chola, Cholas.
Chola.
These were, and when I'm talking about Cholas, I'm talking about 9th and 10th century. Those were the times when these were the most dominant dynasties, and they literally have united the entire South Indian peninsula that goes far up to the Southeast Asia, as saying, right? And thereafter, about 100 years later on, 200 years later on, there's another dynasty called Pallavas. Cholas and Pallavas, these were the two main dynasties, the kings. They rendered this entire South Indian peninsula, and they were also not only restricted to Tamil Nadu, but they literally, spilled over across some parts of Kerala, some parts of Karnataka, going towards the other side as well. And the legacy with both of them is today the testimony to the variety of influences that we have had during those times contemporarily with the foreign invasions that were happening slightly northwards. So they were all coming down. They had heard of different spices, trade concepts. So they were all coming down southwards, and they're establishing their own blending and trade relations up there. So there was like a mutual blending of the cultural lifestyles. So this southern part was richly endowed with the mutual influences that were left, and that we could even see it today. But the best part, which I could very safely say about Tamil Nadu in particular, is majority of population up there it still follows and lives their most traditional and ethnic lifestyles in their day-to-day lives, which is remarkable. For instance, if you really notice, randomly you turn your head anywhere, whether it is a temple or a street or a restaurant or someone's house, you would still notice men and women and children even today wearing the common traditional attire, unlike what I'm wearing right now or what Mr. Lalu is wearing, like a t-shirt or a shirt. We would mostly notice that people would be still conforming to their old practices, and that is really, really what adds what we call as the nice experiences of people who go there. So there's a lot to be shared when we go further deeper into the historical annals of Tamil Nadu or southern India. But very, very interesting and enriching for the visitors who come there.
Maybe it's time for me to just show a couple of pictures here of some of the things we've been talking about. So I will, everybody who's seen anything that I've done on Facebook live streaming knows that I'm not very technologically adept, but let's see if I can, advanced sharing options. Let's try this. How many participants? Who can share all of them? That's not what I want. Let's try this. Here we go. And let's see if this works. There we go. There's the shore temple in Mamallapuram that Lalu was talking about initially. And let me see if I can advance the slides here. Lalu, tell us what we're looking at here. Can you see that as well?
Yes, actually, this is we call Arjuna's Penance, one of my favorite place in Mahabalipuram, Mamallapuram, and this is the one of the we call a second largest bas relief in India, sorry, in the world. First one is in Cambodia, and second is in Mahabalipuram. But this is a good example to build Cambodia next to that. But this is sort of like a 27 meters longer and 9 meters height and 154 sculpture carved in one single stone. And it is made like a 3D, which means third dimension. You can see the carvings which coming out. It's built at around 6 to 780, more than 1400 years old, at very good conditions. And you can see there the heavens and human and the animals. They try to bring out here that Himalaya mountain to in Mahabalipuram, the background of the carvings. When the heavy rains come down, you can see between the two, with the elephant, you can see the snakes families are there. In the heavy rain time, the water is coming center of this mountain and fill up this place with water, and that's we believe the Ganga water is coming down.
Excellent.
Was,
So this is definitely
very
something.
beautiful place.
Yeah. I'm going to go back to the shore temple. Just give us 30 seconds about the shore temple. When was it built and why is it important?
Shore temple is built at around 780, and it is built at the last king of Pallava, Narasimhavarma Pallava, and they built the same like 7 temples over here. 6 of them they washed away by the sea, and 1 is left here. 1400 years old the sculptures. It is not a one stone. It is built with the structural monuments, standing close to the Bay of Bengal. 1400 years, facing to a lot of earthquakes, cyclone, a tsunami also, but still good conditions.
And one of the things that I found to be most enjoyable about the shore temples is where they are, right? It's right there on the beach.
It's close to the beach, close background against the beach. Yes, it's
right,
very close to the sea.
And I want our viewers to notice that the Indians don't really put on a bikini to go swimming, right? They just go out right with their saris.
This is not our culture to having a they go with the dresses. They're not going to swim just to have a fun from the beach.
Yeah. So this is essentially right next door to the shore temple. So it's really a beautiful venue for these temples.
It's well safe beach also. We have a good beach and with clean, very nice beach, and a lot of fishermen also there. There's a fisherman beach also, both of them in that side. And you can go to the beach and you can having a fun there. they're coming with the family and by college friends, all having a fun on the beach. They're not going to swim, just having a fun on the beach.
Right.
Just doing walk on the beach and the sea water.
And for anybody who's thinking they might want to join us on the tour this fall, it's going to be in November, and Mamallapuram is the first stop of the tour, just logistically speaking. I think that's all I have of Mamallapuram, but I'm going to try to advance to, oh, look at there. I wonder where I got that photograph. Chetan showed us this one on his phone. He had sent it to me as well. I'm not going to comment on these other things, but I think I've got a picture of a Dravidian temple here somewhere. Did I come to the end? No. These are all on the tour. This is Mysore, by the way.
Mysore, yes.
Ah, here we go. Here's one of the Dravidian temples. And I wanted to show this because this is the kind of temple architecture that we will see all over Tamil Nadu. And am I right that this was the Chola dynasty typically that built these sort of temples?
Yes.
Am I correct?
Yes. Yeah. It's a place we call a Tanjore.
This one's in Tanjore, yeah.
The capital of Cholas.
Do either of you want to say just a couple of words about the Gopuram here?
Yes, it's Gopuram. It is more than like a 60 tons of weight. It's really amazing how the Gopurams took it that high to fix there. This is still questions how, because now we have a lot of technique. It's very difficult, and more than that, close to this area, more than 30 kilometers, there is no any mountains. Where the rocks come from to build this temple. And this is one of the best architectures that you never see any other places. It's and also the group, when we say what we did, this temple is shaded, it's not come down. Shade is not, you can see at the down. It's one of the best temple. It's a Shiva temple. A Shiva temple, one of my favorite temple in the world. And you can see the front of the temple, there is a huge, bigger Nandi also. Front of the temple, but this is still active. Cholas, you can see on the bottom the names who worked to the temple. They write it there, even who given water for artists to help. You can see the name of that person also. They write it on the temple.
Nice. And for our viewers, Nandi is a sacred bull, and I believe it is the
Shiva.
Shiva, thank you. Shiva, does Shiva ride on the back of the Nandi? Is that how it works?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It's the vehicle of Lord Shiva.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to stop the sharing up, and we're back to the three of us here. I think we're pretty much at the end, unless either one of you have other thoughts that you would like to share with our viewers this morning before we sign off.
Yeah, and shall I say thank you? Or?
Yes, that would be fine.
Thank you so much. And Maha, I come to Tamil Nadu, southern India, and what we've seen is just like a smaller one. And we have a lot of things to see here, and it is one of the best place. We can have learn more and more here. Once if you come again and again here also. So thank you so much for everyone. My Tamil Nadu, it is also very safe for a tourist. It's a very safe place, and we are really aggressively waiting for a tourist. And
excellent.
Thank you so much to give this opportunity to me. And we will see at the 2nd of April live telecast of Mahabalipuram.
Excellent. And we thank you as well, Lalu, for taking time out of your evening to share with us, give us a little taste of your part of the world.
And a special thanks to Chetanji, because this is my first experience. I'm just doing this video call, and he was really, really motivating me. You can do it. But still last night also I was working Satyajit, it is worked or not? And he said, no, you can do it. And he was very confident of me more than what I have confidence. So he said, you can do it. So I think so. I done it, but I'm not sure. Maybe I can get a feedback to him later on.
Well said. Well said. Of course, Chetan is ever so helpful for all of us. So Chetan,
Yeah.
I'll let you have the last word here before we sign off.
Thank you, everyone. And thanks, Lalu. That was really, really great. Especially as you said, it was your first time, but it's just, you have set the ball rolling for the curiosity. And I'd like to add just one liner. What we have talked about, what we have seen today is just tip of an iceberg waiting to be explored with an unparalleled experience of the exclamatory marks that you might want to add to your experience. So join the tour,
Thank you.
and more, of course, on South India coming during the time, as Reed is already sharing with you. Thank you again for having this opportunity for talking. Thanks, Reed. And I hope everyone has really, really enjoyed what we have talked and shown with them. Everyone is welcome to India.